They always said Jake was special. Gifted, Mom liked to say, like God himself had reached down to our town and plopped a golden egg in her nest. And me? I was just the other kid. The spare. The one who ruined family photos by blinking too much. You'd think I'd have gotten used to it. After all, for 17 years, I was the background noise to Jake's main act. He was the star quarterback, the future NFL pick, the town's pride. I was the kid who stocked shelves after school and kept my head down. But the day I came home early because my skull felt like it was splitting open, that was the day it all cracked open for everyone else, too. I remember the exact moment. The front door clicked shut behind me, and I was already picturing curling up with a bottle of Tylenol. But then I heard it, a muffled, choking sob that didn't sound like any post-practice hookup. I crept up the stairs. I wish I could tell you I was brave, that I flung the door wide open in a blaze of righteousness. But the truth is, my hand shook so badly I almost dropped my phone when I hit record. Jake had Emma pinned against his bedroom wall, one hand clamped around her throat. She was sobbing. He was hissing something about how she knew the rules. I didn't even think. I called 911. That moment, the one where I pressed send, was probably when my life ended, at least the one I'd known. By morning, Jake was bailed out, probably by the same parents who told me not to be dramatic, when Jake split my eyebrow open during roughhousing. But me? I woke up to my mom shrieking like some banshee out of a soap opera. "You've destroyed this family," she screamed, chucking my clothes into a garbage bag like she was cleaning out a dead man's closet. Dad didn't say a word. He just stared at me with this frozen disappointment, the kind you save for traitors and tax evaders. "You have 1 hour," he said, voice calm as a funeral. "Get out." I tried to reason with him. Like an idiot, I actually thought if I explained, if I told them Emma could have died, they'd see the sense in it. "She's a gold digger," Mom spat. "You just handed her everything she ever wanted." So there I was, 17 years old, standing on the lawn with 2 garbage bags and a splitting headache, watching my mother slam the front door like that was the period on the end of my existence. And maybe it was. I didn't even have time to wonder where I'd sleep when my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. "Hey," a woman's voice said, shaky but determined. "This is Rebecca, Emma's sister. I heard what you did. Are you safe?" I almost laughed. Safe? Sure. Just homeless and disowned. Nothing new. She must have heard the defeat in my voice because she said, "Send me your location. I'm coming to get you." When her beat-up Corolla pulled up 20 minutes later, I was half expecting her to start yelling at me, too. Instead, she just opened the passenger door. "Get in," she said softly. "You did the right thing." I climbed in, clutching my garbage bags like they were the last pieces of my life. In that moment, I didn't feel righteous or brave or anything noble. I just felt alone. Rebecca's apartment smelled like burnt coffee and desperation. She didn't apologize for the mess, and honestly, I respected that. It felt real. More real than my parents' museum clean house ever did. She set me up on her couch and stared at me for a long moment, like she was trying to figure out whether I was about to burst into flames or start crying. Neither happened. Instead, we just sat there, the world's most awkward roommates. Her phone rang, slicing through the silence like a knife. She didn't even look before she hit speaker. "Becca," Emma's voice came through, thin and shaking. "He won't stop texting me." My stomach clenched. "He says if I don't drop the charges, he's going to release our videos. The ones." Rebecca's face drained of color. "He's threatening revenge porn now? He says he knows I'm with you. He knows where you live." It was like a switch flipped in Rebecca. She stood up so fast her chair scraped back with a screech. "Emma, listen to me," she said, her voice iron. "Opie recorded everything. We have proof. You are not alone." The line was quiet. Then Emma whispered, like she was afraid even the phone would betray her. "He has the whole town on his side." Rebecca looked at me, her eyes tired but burning. "Opie," she said, "how much do you know?" It was the first time anyone had asked me that without assuming the answer was nothing. I swallowed. Everything. And God help me, I did. Every time my mother wrote a hush money check. Every time Jake came home smirking about teaching a girl a lesson. Every time Dad called it boys being boys. Rebecca grabbed her laptop. "Then we're going to end this. No speeches. No pep talks. Just the quiet certainty of someone who'd reached her limit." She set up a folder labeled Evidence, Thompson, and started typing like her life depended on it. I pulled out my phone. My hand shook as I opened the video, the one I'd recorded of Jake with his hand around Emma's throat. Part of me wanted to delete it, to pretend I hadn't seen it. But instead, I hit upload. "Emma, Can you send screenshots of every text he sent you? Rebecca asked, her voice somehow calm. Every single one. Yeah, Emma whispered. Rebecca turned to me. Anything else? I nodded. My voice felt like sandpaper. I have photos of the checks. From my mom. Rebecca blinked, like she hadn't expected that. Checks. 3 of them. I saw her write them after homecoming junior year. And again last spring. Emma sucked in a breath. That was when. She didn't finish. She didn't have to. Rebecca clicked through the images. Jesus, she muttered. Your mother is either arrogant or stupid. Probably both, I said, voice dry. A tiny, humorless laugh escaped Emma. It was the first time I'd heard anything close to amusement in her voice. Rebecca didn't look up. She was already moving to the next step. I'm calling Marcus, she said. Who's Marcus? Lawyer. He's been waiting for a case like this. While she called, I kept uploading. Screenshots of Jake bragging in our group chat. Pictures of bruises on my arms, gifts from my loving brother. A video of Dad telling me to stop being dramatic when I showed him my black eye. Rebecca's voice was steady on the phone. Yes, Marcus. It's happening. He has proof. Multiple victims. At least 3, maybe more. I sat there, feeling like a hurricane was gathering around me. This was it. No more pretending. No more covering for them. When Rebecca hung up, she looked at me with something I couldn't quite name. Respect, maybe. You're not going back there, she said. Not ever. I wanted to believe her. But my phone buzzed again. Mom. I didn't answer. Because if I did, I knew exactly what she'd say. That I was ruining everything. And for the first time in my life, I almost felt proud of it. My phone was buzzing like it owed my mom rent money. Call after call. Voicemail after voicemail. I ignored them all until the screen flashed MOM again, and something in me snapped. I answered. You ungrateful little bastard. There it was. The Thompson family motto. Hi, Mom. I didn't bother to pretend I was happy to hear from her. Do you have any idea what you've done? Alabama called. They're reconsidering Jake's scholarship. My brain translated that into plain English. We don't care what Jake did, only that he might lose his golden ticket. Good, I said. He doesn't deserve it. There was a moment of stunned silence. Then her voice turned so cold it almost crackled over the line. You're going to fix this. Fix what? The fact that Jake's a serial abuser? The fact that you all knew. You're going to call the police and tell them you lied. That Emma was trying to ruin him. I actually laughed. It came out sharper than I expected. I have video evidence, Mom. Videos can be edited, she spat. You're going to delete it. You're going to come home. You're going to do exactly as you're told. Or what? I asked. My voice sounded weirdly calm. Her tone shifted into something syrupy and false. Well, you're going to find out exactly how little you matter without us. We know where you are. OP. Rebecca Winters, apartment 4B. Did you really think you could hide? My hand clenched around the phone. Rebecca was pacing, whispering something into her own. Emma had gone silent on speaker, listening to every word. Are you threatening me? I asked. I'm telling you how the world works, she snapped. Jake's future matters. Yours doesn't. And then she hung up. For a second, I just sat there, staring at the blank screen. Rebecca stopped pacing. What did she say? I looked up. That Jake's future matters, and mine doesn't. Something in my chest went cold and hard. Maybe it had been trying to freeze solid for years, and this was just the final snap. I opened a new folder in the cloud drive and named it insurance. Then I backed up everything, videos, screenshots, photos, to 3 different places. If they were going to burn my life down, I'd make damn sure they'd go up in flames with me. 30 minutes later, Rebecca was out the door to pick up Emma. I was alone in her living room, sitting cross-legged with my laptop. My phone kept buzzing, but I ignored it. That's when I remembered the other recordings. One was from last year. Jake, bragging about putting Megan in her place. Another was Dad telling me to keep my mouth shut if I knew what was good for me. I'd recorded it all without really knowing why. Maybe some part of me knew it would come to this. I clicked upload. Somewhere between the 6th and 7th file, there was a knock at the door. I froze. Was it my parents? The police? The knock came again, followed by a voice. Opie, it's Marcus. I exhaled so hard it made me lightheaded. Rebecca's lawyer stood in the doorway when I opened it, wearing a suit that looked like it had been slept in for a week. You're brave, kid, he said without preamble, shaking my hand. Not many 17-year-olds would stand up to their family. Thanks, I muttered. I feel like I'm about to throw up. That's normal, he said. Means you still have a conscience. He sat up at the kitchen table, pulled out a battered laptop, and got to work. Walk me through everything, he said. I did. Every incident. Every cover-up. Every time I'd watch Jake smirk while my parents pretended not to see. Marcus didn't interrupt. Just typed and nodded. When I was done, he looked up. This is bigger than you realize, he said quietly. If we can prove your parents knowingly covered this up, they're looking at conspiracy charges. Possibly even racketeering. I almost laughed. My mom always wanted to be part of something important. Congratulations, Marcus said dryly. She finally made it. We worked past midnight. Marcus had this way of making everything sound both terrifying and completely under control. Like he'd seen every shade of family dysfunction, and this was just Tuesday. Every time my phone buzzed, he told me, record it. The voicemails were a greatest hits album of my parents' delusions. You've ruined your brother's life. You're sick. You need help. And my personal favorite. Don't come crawling back when the world chews you up. I almost wanted to send back a group text. Plot twist, turns out the world is friendlier than our living room. Rebecca returned with Emma around 1 a.m. Emma's face was blotchy from crying, but she hugged me the second she walked in. Thank you, she whispered, her voice hoarse. For believing me. No one had ever said that to me before. Not about anything. Marcus packed up his files. We'll file for an injunction first thing. And I'll start building the criminal case. Will it be enough? I asked. He hesitated, rubbing a hand over his tired face. It would help if we had more. Something indisputable that proves your parents funded the cover-ups. I thought about the safe in the closet back home. The ledgers Mom guarded like the Holy Grail. They have records, I said quietly. Everything they ever paid out. I've seen them. Marcus's eyes sharpened. Can you get them? Rebecca shot me a look that was part warning, part hope. They kicked you out, she reminded me. But legally, you're still a resident for 30 days. Emma perked up, her voice a little stronger. We could end it. All of it. The idea of going back into that house made my stomach clench. But I also knew this was the moment, the point of no return. I can get them, I said. Rebecca exhaled. Then we're going to do this smart. You're going to record everything. Every step. If they catch you, you were there retrieving your belongings. Period. Understood. Emma squeezed my hand. Be careful. The next day, Lily texted me out of nowhere. Mom and Dad are at the lawyer's office. House is empty for 2 hours. If you're going to do something, do it now. My hands were shaking as I read it. Rebecca pulled her keys off the counter. I'll drive you. No, I said. They'll recognize your car. I'll take the bus. Rebecca didn't argue. She just pressed something into my hand, a tiny black USB drive. In case you find anything electronic, she said. An Opie. Yeah, you're braver than you think. The bus ride felt longer than my entire childhood. I spent it staring out the window, trying to remember every creak in the floorboards, every step that didn't squeak. I let myself in with my old key, half expecting an alarm to blare. But the house was silent. Too silent. I moved quickly upstairs, straight into my parents' bedroom. The safe was behind Mom's rows of matching high heels, like some shrine to suburban ambition. I crouched down and keyed in the code. Jake's jersey number. Twice. When it clicked open, I had to swallow a wave of nausea. 3 leather-bound ledgers sat there like a confession waiting to happen. I grabbed them. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the last one. And that's when I heard it, someone clearing their throat behind me. I turned, clutching the ledgers like a shield. Lily stood in the doorway. She looked older somehow. Took you long enough, she said, her voice flat. Lily. They told everyone you were mentally unstable, she interrupted. That you attacked Jake because you were jealous. I felt something inside me crack. You know that's not true. I know, she said. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she stepped inside, closing the door. Are you here to stop me? I asked. No, Lily said, her voice trembling. I'm here to help. Lily crossed the room and set her phone on the dresser like it was some kind of offering. You're not alone, she said quietly. I blinked. For a second, I almost didn't recognize her. This was the kid who used to hide behind the couch when Jake brought his friends over. The kid who'd once whispered, I think he's scary, and got grounded for a week. But here she was, standing with me in the middle of enemy territory. Lily, you don't have to. She cut me off with a look. I'm tired of pretending he's a hero. Before I could say anything else, we heard the front door slam. My heart stopped. Voices floated up the stairs. Mom, Dad, Jake, and Coach Williams, of all people. Like the ringleader had come to inspect the circus. Lily's eyes widened. They're early. I scanned the room like a trapped animal. Is there another way out? She shook her head. Footsteps started up the stairs. Go to your room, she hissed. Wait for my signal. Lily. Just go. I ducked into my old bedroom, heart hammering so loud I was sure they'd hear it. From the crack in the door, I watched her walk to the top of the stairs. What are you doing home? Mom's voice snapped, all brittle cheerfulness. I felt sick, Lily said flatly. Threw up in second period. You look fine, Jake sneered. Yeah, well, you look like someone who chokes girls, Lily shot back. So I guess looks can be deceiving. The silence that followed was so absolute I could hear my own pulse. Dad's voice boomed up the stairs. Apologize to your brother. Why? Lily demanded, her voice shaking but loud. Because he's the golden boy? Because you spent years cleaning up his messes. Mom's voice turned syrupy. Honey, you don't understand it. I understand more than you think. Lily cut in. She pulled out her phone, her thumb hovering over the screen. I know about the payoffs. About the girls. About everything. I held my breath. Jake started up the stairs, his face red. Give me the phone, Lily. No. His steps quickened. I slipped out of my room and into the hallway just as he lunged. He grabbed her arm, twisting hard enough to make her gasp. Let her go. I shouted. Jake spun to face me, his hands still locked around Lily's wrist. You, he snarled, his eyes wild. You're supposed to be gone. I guess I'm not good at staying gone. He shoved Lily aside. She hit the wall with a sickening thud, but kept her phone clutched tight. Jake advanced on me, fist clenched. You ruined everything, he spat. My scholarship. My future. Everything. No, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. You did that all by yourself. He swung, and I ducked on reflex. His fist connected with the wall. The drywall cracked. Lily scrambled to her feet. Phone up. Recording. Stop it. Mom screamed from the bottom of the stairs. Both of you, stop it right now. But Jake wasn't listening. He lunged again, this time grabbing me by the throat. I gasped, clawing at his arm. Spots exploded behind my eyes. You want to know what I do to people who cross me? He hissed. Jake. Dad's voice cracked, sounding terrified for the first time. Let go. There are witnesses. I don't care. Jake shouted. I'm sick of everyone acting like I'm the bad guy. From the corner of my eye, I saw Lily still recording, tears streaming down her face. Jake's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his grip loosening just enough for me to suck in a ragged breath. He pulled the phone out with his free hand, reading the screen. His face went white. What do you mean you're not doing it anymore? He barked into the phone. Connor, you promised. He listened, his expression morphing from rage to confusion to something that looked suspiciously like fear. You can't do this to me, he said hoarsely. You're my brother, man. The call ended. Jake stood there, staring at the phone like it had betrayed him. You okay? Lily whispered. I nodded, rubbing my throat. Yeah, thanks to you. Jake's gaze snapped back to us. This isn't over, he spat. I'll kill you both. Lily's voice was steady. I've already sent the video to Marcus. To Rebecca. To the police. Jake's jaw worked soundlessly. For once, he had nothing to say. Dad stepped forward, looking like he'd aged 20 years in 10 minutes. Opie, he said, voice low. Take what you came for, and go. I stared at him. The man who'd always told me to be quiet. To be grateful. To be less. No, I said. I'm taking her, too. You're not, Mom started. Try to stop us, I cut in. And you'll watch the video of your son assaulting your daughter play on every news station in the state. The hallway went dead silent. And then Lily slipped her hand into mine. For the first time in our lives, we were leaving together. We walked out of that house without looking back. My backpack was stuffed with the ledgers, my mother's meticulous records of every payoff and cover-up. Lily had her phone clutched to her chest like a lifeline. The driveway was empty when we got there. For one wild second, I wondered if Connor had been bluffing about backing out. Then I saw his truck rumbling up the street. He pulled in beside us, climbing out with his hands up like he thought we'd shoot him. I'm not here to start anything, he said, voice hoarse. I came to tell you something. Lily stiffened beside me. Make it fast. Connor swallowed. I've been helping Jake for years. Editing videos. Covering things up. I thought it was just team loyalty. But after today, I can't anymore. He pulled a small flash drive from his pocket and held it out. I have everything, he said. Every recording. Every time Jake bragged about hurting someone. Conversations with your parents. Coach Williams. All of it. I took the drive. My hand was steady. My heart wasn't. You know this could get you charged too, I said quietly. Yeah, he whispered. But I'd rather face it than keep living like this. Behind us, the front door slammed open. Jake barreled out onto the porch, his face red and twisted. You, he screamed, pointing at Connor. You traitor. You think this makes you better than me? No. Connor called back, his voice ragged. It makes me done. Jake took a step forward, but Mom grabbed his arm. Let them go, she hissed, her voice sounding small for the first time in my life. This is already a disaster. I looked at my brother, this towering figure I'd grown up terrified of, and saw, for the first time, just a pathetic, furious boy who was finally realizing he wasn't untouchable. I turned to Lily. Ready? She nodded, her eyes bright but fierce. We walked past Connor, past Jake, past every lie and threat and denial. At the curb, Rebecca's old Corolla pulled up. Emma was in the passenger seat, her hand pressed to the window in silent solidarity. Rebecca jumped out, eyes scanning us. You okay? We're good, I said, surprising myself with how true it felt. You got it. I lifted the flash drive and patted my backpack. All of it. Rebecca nodded once, crisp and decisive. Then let's go home. The days after were a blur. Marcus worked around the clock, coordinating statements and filing motions. Detective Santos arranged protective orders for me, Lily, Emma, anyone Jake had threatened. The ledgers turned out to be the nail in the coffin. Every hush payment logged, every note signed in my mother's perfect cursive. When the story hit the local news, complete with Jake's mugshot and words like serial assault, witness tampering, and felony cover-up, the town that once worshipped my family turned cold overnight. I wish I could say I felt triumphant. Mostly, I just felt hollow. A week later, we were sitting in the Davidsons' kitchen, me, Lily, Rebecca, Marcus, Detective Santos. Mrs. Davidson poured tea like this was any normal parent-teacher conference. Your parents are in custody, Santos said calmly. Jake's bail was revoked after he violated his restraining order and threatened you. He won't be getting out again. What about the others? Lily asked softly. Santos's expression softened. More girls are coming forward every day. What you two did, it made them realize they weren't alone. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just nodded, because it felt like the only thing holding me together. That night, Lily knocked on my door. She looked impossibly small in her borrowed pajamas. Can I stay in here? She asked. Just tonight. Yeah, I whispered. Of course. She crawled onto the bed and curled up beside me, like we were little kids again hiding from thunderstorms. Do you think they ever really loved us? She murmured into the dark. I thought about it for a long time. About the years of cover-ups and excuses. About how quickly they'd chosen Jake over everything else. Over us. I don't know, I said finally. But I know we don't have to keep loving them the way they taught us. Lily was quiet for a while. Then she reached for my hand. And in the silence that settled, I felt something shift. I wasn't the kid who was supposed to stay quiet anymore. I was the one who'd said no. The one who'd walked away. When dawn came, I felt ready to face it.